So hi you guys, welcome back to Love or Tarot. I'm Jay. If you are new here, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. Okay, so earlier today I was on my Instagram and I was talking about the revelation that I was having, and I knew that later on I needed to make it a video. And it's like this divine shift that is taking place that I really feel like I need to speak on. And it was kind of because it was presented to me in song form, which I thought was amazing. And I really didn't understand, but it was like a push. Like I listened to the song and it was No Time to Die by Billie Eilish. And it was like the song hit me directly in my gut. And at first I was kind of like, okay, it's a beautiful song. I love Billie Eilish. I just love her, period. So because I was listening to the song, genuinely for her, to actually hear the emotion that was involved and then being brought out of myself and into more of a spiritual space, I recognize that the words of the song are very much aligned with how the feminine energy is currently feeling right now towards the masculine. And I'm telling you, right? Mind blowing. So, but the reason why that's mind blowing is because we were going through this transition. December, January, and February, everyone was going through this serious death and rebirth process, right? And it just continued to occur. I mean, one thing after the other, just facing all of your fears, pushing yourself to your limits, understanding that okay, this is not all there is, waking up, spiritual awakenings happening at rapid pace, just all these different little things that were occurring that, were opening our eyes and we were being reborn into these new states of being, right? And during that time, the feminine kind of came to the forefront as the one leading the way, because as the feminine energy, a lot of us are already kind of gone through these hills and valleys of transition, of death and rebirth, of waking up. And that was coming really, honestly, I really truly feel from the earth energy, from Gaia. We were in this state of creation energy. We were in this state where almost like we were, where feminine energy was incubating the world in a way, if that makes sense, just nurturing, really building. And I feel like it kind of happened for the present time of December through February, right? And during December through February was when masculine energies were really pulled and pushed to really face a lot of their own truths. And one of the biggest one that I found today when I was really sitting with this energy was that Spirit was pushing masculine to understand that it isn't just masculine that is needed by feminine, but it's also feminine that's needed by masculine. And that in that moment of direct and gracious balance, we are all transformed. We're all energetically connected. So things that are going on with the masculine affect us. The same with the feminine. Things that are going on with the feminine affects us, all on an individual level, but collectively as well. Because we all harness both masculine and feminine energy. And what I realized in the presence of this song is that there's just no time to die. And when I heard those words, it's like, okay, now that's not just for the masculine, that's for the feminine also. This is an outcry of the feminine saying, look, I've put up with so much. I've dealt with so much. There's no time to die. There's no time to start over. There's no time for a set situation of rebirth. And there's no time for me to sit and cry and wallow in what has happened and allow myself time to heal. And I have to say, yes, there is. There is always time to heal. And in healing has to happen. Healing is something that I consider to be the inevitable. Even though for a lot of people, pain tends to be the inevitable. But the biggest thing with anything is understanding how to overcome that thing, but first looking at yourself for that revelation. And so, in the process of feminine going through that, right, there was the masculine going through this process of, okay, I do need the feminine. I do need the feminine. But how do I tap into that? I've been so disconnected from this energy for so long. How do I allow, my toxic masculine energy to fall away and embrace the feminine energy as I should have all along? Now, there's this feminine energy that's also like, heard it all before, not really interested in seeing you, be reborn and come back to the forefront, or, you assisting. But the reality of it is that the feminine energy is the one that I realize in this new dynamic that's leading the way, while the masculine energy follows and embraces and assists the feminine energy in the next wave that we're getting ready to go into. And I'm going to do a video later on about twin flames and divine counterparts, because that's a whole other thing. But really, and this is not speaking to gender, because I said we all harness both masculine and feminine energy. But what this is doing is showing that there is a need for balance. No matter the situation, no matter the circumstance, there is a need for balance. Balance of the feminine and balance of the masculine. That one cannot coexist without the other. We are the yin and the yang. So because of that, we have to individually balance our masculine and our feminine energy. For me specifically, I went through a serious process where I was so heavily into my masculine energy that it was really hard for me to tap into my feminine. It was really hard for me to tap into, my more softer, more nurturing side. And in becoming a mother, it kind of pushed that out of me. It kind of, forced me into this moment of having to embrace my feminine and allow her to, take over and to nurture my baby and to care for myself in ways that I hadn't before or even forgotten. And that was so essential to me, for me to allow my masculine to say, hey, I can take a step back and allow for the feminine to usher in this nurturing, to usher in this love. And it's kind of the same thing that's happening within our dynamics individually with our masculine and feminine, and then collectively with our masculine and feminine. And because our masculine has been in such a state of toxicity, and so has the feminine, it's like now finally coming together. Instead of existing as separate and then existing as separate, we're now trying to merge these two energies to coexist in a more balanced form. And that's what Spirit is pushing us to do. And while this is very unnerving and very uncomfortable, it is necessary. And, the thought process of the collective feeling as if there's no time to die, that the time is to die and the time is now. We have to allow ourselves time to shed things that no longer serve us so that we can continue forward and live the lives that we were supposed to initially. It's not easy. It's not, this is a piece of cake. I'm just going to usher in this masculine. Everything's going to be all right. Okay, I'm just going to usher in this feminine. Everything's going to be great. No, it's not. It's going to be uncomfortable. It's going to be uncomfortable, especially for those of us who have been in any particular energy in any imbalanced way. There are some masculine energies who are too far in their feminine energies. So there's certain parts of them that can't see the more masculine perspective, and then vice versa. And that happens all the time. Again, this is not a gender issue. This is more so just energy. Okay, this is more so energy that I'm picking up on. Are there some issues with patriarchy versus matriarchy? Yes, but we're not going into that at this present time. All I'm simply saying is that we have to understand that in order for there to be balance, there has to first be balance within, for there to be balance on the outside. Everything around you is but a mere reflection of what exists on the inside of you, okay? So it's time to dive deep. It's time to take in some reflections. I chose to kind of bring out my personal deck, the Animal Spirit the Spirit Animal Oracle deck to kind of give us some views of wisdom. And I'm going to do one for the masculine energy, and then I'm going to do one for the feminine, and then I'm going to kind of try to unload these energies and try to figure out if we can get some more answers here. Okay? So, Spirit, ancestors, guides, love, source, okay? All of those who desire our highest good at this present time, we usher you in. We ask that all those that desire my highest good protect me, keep me, and give me the confidence to bring forward this reading in the best way possible. I ask that you usher in any messages that you would like for the collective to hear. May you speak through me clearly. May you speak through me in a way that only this individual person, whomever they are, because I'm picking up on some very individual energy that whomever this is that is watching, that needs to hear from you, okay? I'm so appreciative. I'm so thankful. I thank you forevermore with all the peace, love, and joy that I have in my heart. Amen, amen, and amen. Okay, so here we are, okay? Spirit, can we get some messages out here for the masculine energy? Are there any messages that you would like to relay to masculine energy at this time? Okay. Let's see. Ooh. What did I tell you guys? What did I say? Okay. We have flamingo spirit. Embrace the in-between. Okay. Whew. 26, breaking down to an 8. And then we have fox spirit. Think on your feet. Okay. 27, breaking down to a 9. And then we have turtle spirit. Slow and steady wins the race. Okay. So, again, this is just definitely speaking about what I was just talking about, embracing the in-between, saying to yourself, okay, like this is new. I haven't done this in a while. I haven't embraced the feminine in a while, but you know what? It's time. It's time to, gain a fresh new perspective. It's time for me to think on my feet. It's time for me to say, hey, you know what? Things haven't been working out the way that I planned with this current plan. So maybe it's time to reorganize, re-strategize, come up with some new ways of being that may create balance and order, okay? But this is not going to be something that's going to be a fast process, okay? Slow and steady wins the race. This is going to take time. This is not something that's going to happen overnight. But as this energy unfolds, we have to allow ourselves to embrace this energy. And that's a 62, breaking down to an 8, okay, as well. Okay, and my energy is being brought back to that. So there's 2 8s, okay? And so we have the embrace the in-between and slow and steady wins the race, okay? 2 8s and a 9. That's a lot of abundance energy. That's a lot of success, a lot of things that are coming in. But again, this is energy of, things not necessarily happening instantly. This is something that's going to happen over time. Okay? So let's get a few cards out here for the feminine energy. Spirit, can you give us a few cards for the feminine energy? What is it that the feminine needs to work on? Okay. Oh, quite a few cards for you. Feminine. Okay. Oh my goodness. Okay. So we have 55, snake spirit, time to heal. We have antelope spirit, life is speeding up. We have armadillo spirit, set healthy boundaries. And we have badger spirit, be fearless and be bold. Frog spirit, clear out the clutter, okay? And this is 28, breaking down to 10. This is 55, breaking down to 10. And this is a 2, a 3, and a 4, breaking down to a 9 collectively. So again, these numbers of transitions, these numbers of change, these numbers of new cycles, all presenting themselves here. Two, partnerships. Three, mind, body, and spirit. And then you have four, foundations. Okay, this is all about the movement that is existing within the foundations. This is all about embracing the fact that, okay, even though it may not necessarily be the most comfortable thing, it may not necessarily be the thing that feels the greatest, it is time to heal, feminine. It's time to heal, it's time to move forward. But I don't just feel like that's a message just for the feminine. I feel like that's a message for the overall feminine. Again, we're talking about energies that exist, both energies that exist within us. Okay, so this is some of those very strong, dependent masculine energies learning to heal their feminine, learning to, set healthy boundaries so that they are not taken advantage of, or, deal with those things that tend to make them lean more so towards their toxic masculinity than really embracing their feminine and embracing their nurturing side and embracing, what to them may mean love. Okay. This is an energy also of, being courageous. Being courageous, being that person that says, you know what, this is what I have to do for me, and you may not necessarily understand it, and that's okay. And allowing yourself to heal in those areas. The big thing, too, that I, witnessed while in this energy and while channeling this message was that this relationship between the masculine and feminine on both ends has been something where, it's been troubled. It's been troubled. It's been a troubling situation. And for a lot of you that I'm connected to, this has to do and has transpired through foundation. Okay? For Badger Spirit, be fearless, be bold. Allowing yourself to say, you know what, I'm going to be better than what I've seen. I'm not going to take the example that was given. I'm going to be the example. A lot of this, understanding and healing from these masculine energies or these feminine energies comes from things that have happened in our foundations, things that we witnessed growing up, things that happened at a young age that weren't necessarily just. But here we are at this place where now the decision and everything that's going on with us depends on us. So we can choose to move forward and, proceed in a more toxic way, or we can proceed in a way that exudes healing, that exudes love. Okay, there's a lot of love on the board, a lot of green, okay, a lot of heart chakra energy, allowing yourself to really be able to open up your heart to a space that you've never been in and allow that thing in. It's crazy because a conversation is coming back to me that I had with a friend today, and it's that, whatever you've been experiencing is not what you're getting ready to experience. This thought process behind not being so forgiving, it was part of the reason why I now understand I was led to say that, to speak that message on my Instagram about how forgiveness does not mean weakness. It does not mean weakness. It means that you are allowing yourself to be free of whatever may be keeping you in bondage so that you can move forward and live your life in a better way that is suited and tailored for you. Forgiveness has nothing to do with that other person. It releases you from that person and has all to do with you growing and healing day by day. It has absolutely nothing to do with that other person. And a lot of times we're in a state where we've been taught to play the blame game. We've been taught to consistently push ourselves into a space of it's your fault, or it's my fault, or it's everyone's fault, or it's your and my fault. And there has to be no fingers pointed here. There's no fingers pointed here. This is just strictly an energy of reading that both sides need help and need help in different areas. And it is up to each and every one of us to be that assistance for the other. That this is a collaborative effort. And it's like, when you think about partnerships, the number 2, antelope spirit, life is speeding up. You know, this is speeding up because the next lessons learned are coming in. So this has to clear. This has to kind of come to its head. This has to be a situation where, okay, we're understanding, and for my feminines, we also have to understand that because of all of the work that the feminine has done, okay, because of all the work that the feminine has done, it is ushering in such a speed that it's like the masculine are going to have to hurry up. But the reality of it is that the masculine energy is, a little bit more meticulous, a little bit more, paying attention to details, and that's where they need to be. We may feel like, okay, I need you to hurry up. I need you to meet me where I am. I need you to meet me where I am. They're coming at their own pace, but they're coming at a pace that teaches them the lessons that they need to learn at the rate that they need to learn them. Okay? So we can't, at the same time, those of us, that are healthy, balanced, healthy and balanced, understand that everyone moves at their own pace. Your tomorrow isn't my tomorrow. Your today isn't my today. I have to, I'm going to get there when it's right for me to get there. Okay? And that's why it's important too to set these healthy boundaries. To put yourself in this space where you're saying, you know what, look, I want greatness. I want to have an abundant life. I want my life to exude everything that I've put into it. And sometimes that takes time. Sometimes that takes things moving at a slower pace so that you catch the mistakes, so that you catch the things that maybe you want to do over, that you never really thought about, but that one thought triggered something else and made you think about this whole entire plan that you had. And maybe it's time to scratch everything and start over. And that's okay. That's okay. We're in the energy of co-creating. We're in that energy currently right now. And there's nothing wrong with that. So, you guys, I wanted to come forward and talk to you guys about this and really say, to please listen to No Time to Die. And after we've had this conversation, please go listen to it with fresh ears and really allow yourself to hear the pain that she is expressing and how it fits into the scenario that we're all going through collectively and spiritually. And I think it's absolutely beautiful. Billie Eilish is incredibly talented, and I'm going to leave that song in the description below. And yeah, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. If I don't have a channeling before the rest of the night's up. Love you guys so much. Bye.